the NWF Champion Ace.
Pitts has called the match. For some strange reason, he's giving the victory to Kid Kelsey.
Mr. X declared the new champion.
The new champion, Mr. X.
He's won the title match. Get it back, bring him around. Don't you come your new champion.
Hello, NWF fans, and welcome back to another, but also a very special episode of NWF Fast Forward, live on the NWF channel and on Wrestling Revolution Keaton. And of course, my favorite part of the show. Let's get into the introductions. So, I am your main host. I am the former NIPW Junior Heavyweight Champion, the future NIPW Junior Heavyweight Champion, the longest reigning NIPW Junior Heavyweight Champion, and of course, the future NWF World Heavyweight Champion. Your favorite host and your girlfriend's favorite host, the Canary Kid. And of course, my co-host. So, he is the biggest schmuck in all of NWF history. He is actually the worst NWF champion that we will have on the show tonight. He is the 5-time Schmuckerweight champion, Schmucker Crossen.
Are you finished?
I honestly, I would usually go on, but I'm in a great mood because I don't know if you guys saw what happened last week, but me and Ben, we had our first match at that three-way, and Crush, why don't you tell him how it went?
How'd it go?
Yeah, keep it going. I love it.
Let me give you an analogy that I know you can understand, because I know you know what this means. Two cobras are in the jungle. One kills the strongest lion, the other kills a crippled monkey. What cobra are you? You went in there and you didn't do what I said. You did exactly what I figured you'd do, and you took the low road. And I told Keaton this. So now you've got Ben backed against the wall, and if he blows it, he's out. He's not going to get the NWF Championship. But approved by Mitch Baxter, okayed by Nathan Hoy, Crusher's contingency plan will kick in if that happens.
Contingency plan? What's
That's
your
right.
contingency plan? If Ben can't make it to Malone, then surely I get handed
No,
the NWF World title. It's only what makes sense.
absolutely not. Because what's going to happen is this, buddy boy. If you think you're going to walk in, if you think I'm going to come 5,000 miles with this belt just to hand it over because you took a low road and a cheap shot like some of our guests that we're going to bring in used to do, and I'm not going to say who. No, you're not going to get handed this belt. The contingency is this, tough guy. you're going to face Crusher Crossen for this belt. I'm going to come out and I'm going to face you. You're going to still you can still have your best of 3 with Ben, but he won't have a shot at the title. But to get this belt, you're going to come through me, whether you like it or not.
Crush, that's not a good idea. It's honestly, I feel like there's much better ways to go about it. Surely there's other people we can get in. I just feel like for your safety, it's best that it doesn't happen because, as I've said many times, and honestly, I should just get a button that plays this sound effect. I'm not looking to get any charges for beating up an old man. I've said that from the start. Terrible idea.
I know you've said that from the start, but guess what? If you want the belt, that's how it's going to go down. If you get through Ben Nelson, which I'm still not convinced is going to happen. This is just a contingency plan, but I'll tell you what there, tough guy, you are going to have to get in the ring with me. And I am begging you to start kicking my knee and try to slap a figure 4 leg lock on me because I know how to get out of those. So I'm begging you to try that with me. You think you're going to take some cheap shot like that? There's a reason that move's not hardly used anymore because you can reverse the damn thing. So listen, I don't want to get too worked up yet because we haven't got this match taking place yet. And as far as I'm concerned, Ben Nelson, you know what Ben is to me? He's like a raccoon. No, he's like a raccoon. I know you know what they are. A raccoon looks like a nice, and you can almost look like you can come and pet him, right? They're almost friendly in a way until you get one of them cornered. Do you know what a raccoon does when it's cornered? It will take on anything in front of it 3 times its size and viciously, with its sharp claws, annihilate it. You don't corner a raccoon. It's one of the worst things you could do. And that's what you've done, Ricky. You've cornered Ben. You've got his back against the wall. But I think he's going to fight back through this, and I think he's going to even this up because he has no choice. And I'm not too happy with Ben because why did he give up so easily in this figure 4 leg lock? Maybe he doesn't know how to reverse it. Maybe I need to spend some time with Ben Nelson. But anyways, enough of this. We got guests waiting to come in here, and we're going to talk about all this. And who is our guest, Ricky? We've got Ben Nelson.
All right,
I know you like
guests. Ben. We have 2 of the greatest champions in NWF history that put Schmucker Crossen to shame. We have Ace. We have Matt Kelsey. We have the best of the best here live for you people. And, these 2 amazing champions would not have came on any other show. They're only coming on because the host with the most is here. And just like that, just like I bring in viewers, I bring in the best guests, and that's just the way it is. So how about we get them in here, Schmuck?
All right, let's get to the screen. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Ace! Andrew Carlson. He likes Ace. He likes Andrew. He doesn't like Andy. Just FYI. Kid Kelsey, which I don't know if it's Hot Stuff or USA. Who knows who we're going to get. I'm going to guess Hot Stuff. And then, of course, Ben. Well, I like to call Badass Ben Nelson. But Ben, I'm going to start out right now. Dude, what did you do here? You got a figure 4 leg lock, and you tapped. Do you realize what's on the line here? Do you realize what you're putting me through?
I do. But
I picked you because I figured you could get the job done.
Ricky knows my weaknesses. Ricky knows my weaknesses better than everybody. So he decided to go for my one weakness. But Ricky, I've got one thing to tell you. If there's one thing that I pleasure in myself in life doing, it's doing what people say I can't. And that's going to be beating you next month and June 1st.
Well,
you have to, Ben. This is not like an option anymore. If you lose this, you did this best of 3 thing. So now if you lose, you lose the opportunity at this belt. You realize that. I do. Let's talk now. I brought you guys in because I wanted to bring in some former champs who had gotten their hands on this belt back in the day, and we got Ace and we got Kid Kelsey. Now Kelsey, he'd been around a long time. He was my right. I'm gonna give you the props, man. You were my right hand man. You were my right hand man. We were thick as thieves in that time period.
We were.
But Kelsey, the only one of us to hold the belt twice, at least, besides me. Ace's title reign was huge because Ace, you were part of those shoot matches for the whole year, pretty much of '85, and I remember them. I remember some of those matches.
Special times, high competition.
I remember Ackerman losing his mind on one of them.
Yeah, he was pissed.
He was steaming.
Because remember, I had the rule you can't hold more than one belt. So Ackerman forfeited the tag team belt because he figured he was going to beat you, Ace. So he gave it up.
He was smoking hot.
Yeah.
He was so upset.
He was not happy.
No,
So here's the thing, guys, and I know it's hard for you guys to relate at your age because of your generation, because they don't when you go to school. Do you even have recess, like to go out on a playground or anything?
I mean, when we were younger, yeah.
When you're younger,
we did.
Right, when you're younger. But did they allow you to roughhouse and stuff?
I mean, I don't know how they did it where Ben went, but where we did it, we used to do a bit of. Back when I was like 8 or 9, we used to do it, but we weren't allowed, obviously, by the teachers. But there was this big shed for people who cycled to school to put their bikes in. So everyone would go around the back of the shed
and hide and see it.
Yeah, and there was always this one kid who everyone hated because he would bring his coat and would whip you with a coat while doing it. And then one day I remember, I don't know, I think one of my friends took his coat and it was, off he went. He was gone.
Well, the reason I ask though is because these shoot matches, when I say shoots with us at that age, they just turned into these playground style wrestling matches that just got intense. And your object was to make them submit or give up or run the clock or be the master of the rope break. Ace, what is your take on when people call you master of the rope break?
Well, I don't feel it's disparaging in the least. I think that it's really a badge of honor. I mean, it goes to my skill set. I feel like I was pretty effective with the gifts that God gave me. Stretching out, managing the entire ring. It's what you got to do. You're in it to win it. It's not always pretty, but it gets the job done. I'm not ashamed of it in the least.
And Matt knows this, but here's the thing with Ace. He was a kind of a skinny, wiry little kind of kid, but he was hard to get your hands. He was hard to get.
But he was
hands
tough
on.
as hell.
He was tough as nails. But he'd slip out of shit. He'd slip out of
wiry,
things.
yeah.
He's wiry. That's the word. But anyway, and Matt, he was part of the shoots as well. But then Matt was also part of the works. That we finally smartened up and said, we're not going to do this anymore like this. And Matt, it was because of our match that shit went sideways.
Apparently, a stupid ass Dazowski doesn't know how to do a rope break when you're holding on to the rope. I tried the Ace, and I forget if it was Todd or Troy. It was like, no, we're good. We're just gonna let him keep beating the hell out of you.
This Canary gives me shit on this because, or it was Keaton. I know somebody was like giving me shit about it. And I was like, look, if they didn't tell me to break it, I didn't break it. So if Dazowski doesn't say break it, if the ref don't tell you to break it, you don't break it. I don't know. My back's turned. I'm not watching the ropes. So I didn't break it. I remember Matt, you're like, it's a submission, or it's a 5 count, dummy.
I said something. We lived across the street from those guys, so I probably beat the hell out of them later that week for costing me the title.
Well,
you remember those guys, Ace, Todd, and Troy?
Oh, of course. I remember those days. Yeah. I'm so fond of those times over at your place. Just running all over the neighborhood, wrestling down in the basement, upstairs, all over the place, just getting into all sorts of stuff.
I learned how to play tennis in your backyard.
That's right. Yeah.
Matt, didn't you bring Ace on the show? Wasn't it you?
Yeah.
But we weren't sure when we talked about it.
Oh, it's probably or Katniss or something. Like we were all so close. So we all were all playing hockey or baseball or whatever. Like it was one of those things. We were all friends off of the show too, and that's kind of how it worked.
Right. I was gonna say, I think we talked about it off here, but just so the people understand, the reason we did these shoots, and they were kind of working / shoots. They turned into shoots for damn sure when you got to the end of the match.
A shit show.
Yeah, it turned into a shit show. But the reason we did this because we wanted to be, I was getting so much heat from the guys, like, hey, you're not being fair. It's, I want to get a shot. I want to get the belt. I want to, whatever. So I said, okay, fine. Then I'm not going to decide anymore. We're going to do shoots. In my stupid way of thinking, that was fair. And I say stupid just because that's not the way it's done in the business, right? Unless you're in Japan, and it's even those shoots are not quite like this. But so
but it made Ace even better because no one could beat his skinny little ass.
And
so it made it, and he was a cocky little bastard back then.
He
on the ice,
Oh, he was cocky. Damn sure. But
so it made it even worse. It made it even better. It made it it made him even better because no one could beat him, and he's this cocky little bastard.
It did, and you know what? When Ace came on, he was that Russian destruction of the mass thing, and I was like, that gimmick's not gonna work. So we killed that. Oh. But I knew right away when I seen Ace that this is the guy I want to have the belt. So we're doing shoot matches still at this point, but I'm like, and I had the belt, and I'm like, I wanted to lose it to somebody in my mind. I never told anybody, because if I were to say, Ace, I'm going to drop it to you, and that word got out, it'd be piss everybody off because of the way we're doing it. So I'm like, I'm going to lose it to him, but I'm not going to tell him. And I got to do this in a way where he doesn't even know, So it wasn't easy. I had to be aggressive enough, but not enough to actually try to win. And I didn't want to fool you.
It felt earned.
Yeah, I wanted to feel it had to, because otherwise I would that wouldn't have been good. So that's what I did, and because I knew that, because in my mind, you were the perfect person to have the belt for that period.
I was literally going to say he was the perfect champion at that point, where
he really
show was and everything.
Yeah,
Ace was, and I still, even to this day, I don't know if even after the show I'd run into and stuff, you're like always Ace. You've always been Ace.
Oh yeah, to so many. I mean, a lot of people know Ace.
Yeah,
not everybody knows Andrew.
It's funny after all these years, for the longest time they'd call me Crusher all the time too, and people still do to this day. It's just these nicknames stick with you. It's tough for
nobody calls you Crusher. I kind of like what the kid calls you, to be honest with you.
Great, isn't it? It sticks.
Schmuck.
So,
Cushhead was my favorite.
Cushhead, yeah. Oh yeah, I know I'm getting roasted here. So Ben, Ricky.
Yeah, you're
gonna. Ricky, I gotta let you get in here and say something, I guess, and start. Whatever you want to talk about, or questions, or anything.
Well, all I gotta say is, as I said, it's great to be joined by such great champions here today, and then of course Crusher. And one thing,
I love
Ben,
I love this kid.
I feel like Ben and Ace, them two would get on great, because Ace could teach Ben how to get out of submissions by grabbing the rope or something, considering Ben seems to think the only way out is to go, ow, and tap and give up. Like, do you think that's a champion mindset, Ben? That's not a champion's mindset. And take it from me, a great champion. Take it from Ace and take it from Kelsey, other great champions. Don't take it from Crush. He doesn't know what being a great champion is. He would know it if it hit him right in the face. But honestly, as I said, great to be joined by
freaking disrespect from this guy.
Championships, great lineage, and I can't wait to be the centerpiece of that championships lineage. It's going to be amazing.
And Ben, what do you got to say? If you're with us, can you hear us?
Well, Ricky, he wants to talk about me tapping out as a way to get out of the match.
Well, before you can talk about tapping out, you should
Can't
fix
beat
your
me.
Wi-Fi, pal.
Yeah, you're chopping on us, dude.
What it is.
Yeah, you're not.
You can't beat me. You said it before. I've got more potential than you've ever had. You've former champions, and I hope to be a future one myself.
Yeah, you can hope all you want, but underdogs aren't real, pal. It's not going to happen.
You see, Ricky, here you've got all the confidence in the world, but see, whenever it comes to being in the ring, you stop for a second, you freeze, and that's why you're not going to be the champion, Ricky. You're just not going to do it. Simple as that.
Are you done? Because we have great guests here, and I feel like we want to talk about the.
And I'm going to be the bigger. I'm going to be the bigger man here, and I'm not going to get on this kid yet. But for what he just said about me, but these two guys, as fun as we had back in our day, and it was fun. It was a fun thing, especially with your period, Ace. Kelsey, it started getting a little more serious, right, as we developed into the full blown indie fed when Ernie took it over at the dry dock, where you were like, I'm out. I'm out. But we transitioned.
Did his internet freeze too?
Whose? Ben's, maybe? I don't know. You can't hear me, Matt?
I've got everybody good.
You can hear me,
Yeah, I got
Ace?
everyone. I think Crossen's internet froze.
Can you guys hear me, Ace?
You're good on my end.
Typical.
Okay. Can you hear me,
Yeah.
Ricky?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm here, Matt. I'm here.
God, I hope you can hear all this. He's still fun, even to this day. Like, even to this day, him and I will talk once in a while, and it literally turns into two 16-year-olds. Well, he's older than I am, but turns into two kids again, and we just start doing the old shtick. He's so easy to get, getting under his skin is about one of the easiest things I've ever done.
Matt loves commenting to try to get under my skin to this day. But no, what I was going to say is these guys, they're so much better than we were. I mean, even when I got my training with Eddie Sharkey and stuff and gotten smartened up a bit. You remember, for me, old school training in those days, and Sean Hernandez talks about this too, it's not the same. It's not the training we got, and Hernandez got much more than I did. It's not the same as what they're getting today. They're getting trained so well. Think of it like how many times do you train a week?
I train 3.
Yeah, 3 times a week. It's a big deal for them. 3 is Ben. Yeah, so.
Yeah, 2 to 3, yeah.
You know where our training was? It was a freaking match. for TV.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Are you guys in the ring training?
Yep, we're in the ring training.
Yeah, awesome.
Consistently, and it's good. Yeah, really helped.
So my whole point.
Stuff I've seen from you, where you talk with Sean, it absolutely cracks me up. Have you ever seen any of it, Ace?
No.
Oh my God, this kid! I tell you what, he would have fit right in with us back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Like, he gets under Sean's skin so easily, which was my favorite thing to do back in the day, and I know you love doing it.
Yeah. And you know how I handled those kind of situations.
It was just so easy.
Yeah. Matt. Here's the thing with Matt, with Kelsey.
Of course, his internet freezes or whatever. Who knows? The belt weighed him down or whatever.
But Kelsey, I don't know why I'm freezing with you, but I am for him with some reason. It could be because of all of us.
Yeah,
but
I got him clear.
Yeah, it's probably the thing. But anyway, with Matt, when we were a tag team,
we got everyone but Sean.
We were thick as thieves. I don't know why it's not. Matt, tell Matt he just needs to connect and reconnect. I should fix this.
Which is shocking.
Yeah, so Crush is saying, Matt, you should try connecting and reconnecting.
I should fix it. Tell him he's the only one. But because you guys all can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Oh, that's the way it should be. It's kind of good. It shuts Matt up. But no, what I was gonna say, and I'll kind of wait till Matt gets in here because well, I guess I can start explaining it. Matt knows the story, but when Matt, can you hear me now, Matt?
Yeah, now I can hear
you. All right, good. Yeah, so that's what you got to. If that happens, sometimes you got to do that. It's just the way the EV Mux works. But anyway,
I'm closer to Canada than I am the Twin Cities. So,
but I was gonna say though,
actually, I'm closer to Ace. I'm closer to Ace than I am. Anyway.
Right.
I'm gonna make sure too. I'm gonna make sure I'm not at. Yeah, I'm at 720. Okay, so make sure. Oh man, Ben's been kind of bouncing in and out. But anyway, Matt. When he and I were tag teams, we were kind of thick as thieves, and we were gaining all the belts, and it was pissing everybody off. And so a lot of guys,
we were making up belts just to piss people off.
We were at one point, and we were. And the thing is, though, it was pissing everybody off. And what I was getting at is, after a while, all the guys were like, they were pissed, so they would boo Matt when they should be cheering him, and they would get under his skin that way. You remember this, Matt?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And. So he's supposed to be a face and getting cheered, but everybody's booing him anyway, and it pisses. And so I remember Matt would come up to me at times like, "Can I just go heel and be done with it?" Right? So finally, we made that call and went heel. And we should have did it a long time earlier, right?
We should have did it right after Andrew left, because we didn't have one. Like, he was.
Yeah, he was.
I'm not saying this because you're here. I'd say this either way. He was the best heel we had.
He really was
in the studio years. Like,
his character was for sure.
He was. Don't kid yourself. I shared hockey locker rooms with him. That's how he was in the hockey locker room too.
Yeah. Ace was arrogant, arrogant and confident.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like Canary Kid, honestly.
Well,
you can perfect it,
and then middle child syndrome.
There's a lot of that. Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a fun time for us. But how do you guys feel about me bringing this belt back into circulation with this new era of wrestling? These new guys?
I think it's great. I think, like I said, I was kind of saying I've kind of watched some of what these guys do now with you bringing it on, and it's fun, man. It's great for them, right? It's great for you, and it's great for all of us. That people, Ace, you've probably had to tell people, yeah, I used to wrestle on TV at some point, and they're like, what?
Right. Yeah. World champion. Yeah. They're like, wow. Yeah. Heavyweight world champion.
And, everybody always asks us, what was it like going to school? Guys, some people thought you were a dork. Others thought it was cool. It depended if they liked wrestling, really. But if they didn't like wrestling, you were a dork on the show sometimes. Yeah. You know this, Matt.
Yeah.
But not everybody was cool with it, was what I'm trying to say. But a lot of people watched. Remember, wasn't it you guys saying that somebody's like, Ace down the hallway and shit?
Oh yeah, all the time, man. That just totally propelled me.
Yeah. And then what? Your gym coach get on you too for your fire coach?
After it aired on whether I don't know, was it Care 11 maybe?
The news. Yeah, the news came out, did the story on.
Mr. Johnson at Sandberg, he was like, Andrew, get over here. I was like, what's up? He's like, you're a heavyweight champion.
So you're a heavyweight champion, huh? Yeah.
I was like, that's right.
That's
yeah.
He was giving me grief. But I mean, there's, he just, a lot of admiration too. I mean, there was nothing but good stuff that was, really said about the whole production of all of it. I mean, it was all just so impressive to, pull something like that off with a group of kids. I mean, Sean, you were obviously just so talented and invested in it. And I mean, you really gave a gift to so many people, not just, the viewers, the fans, but, for everybody involved. It was just been so much fun. And for me to see that belt, go across the ocean, I think it's great. I really do. I mean, spread it out.
Honestly, and not only that, it's a traveling championship. It's not tied to a promotion. So they can literally go, because there's a lot of indie feds that they're kind of intertwined with, and they can take the belt to Portugal or like these guys. Wow. They can take it to England, and they can go into these other indie feds, and the belt can change hands.
Okay.
So you see, a lot of the problem with indie fed belts is they stick with the indie feds. so if Canary Kid's the NIPW Junior Champion, chances are that belt's staying with him wherever he goes, right? And everybody knows that.
I don't care where the belt goes. I just want the Canary Kid to kick you in the face as hard as he can.
I mean, if the people want it. The people want it.
Well, he might get his shot.
Want it.
Well, he may get his opportunity to try to do that.
That's all I want. I just for
Ace,
one time for us old timers, kids.
I gotta get Ace's opinion on this. Ace, we've had our matches.
No, I feel like Canary, you might be treading into some things that you may want to just pump the brakes on. I mean, I appreciate the moxie. I'm not going to, over or underestimate your abilities, but what I can say is, I mean, even just early on, I heard him kind of just bending you up intellectually. He threw raccoons at you. He threw cobras. I mean, that's going to translate. And I don't think that you should really just, take this lightly. So with some wisdom, just understand your abilities. Don't underestimate the value of the past.
Look, I appreciate your words, but yes, you seem like a bit of a walking contradiction here, because you just said to me you weren't going to, underestimate me, but what you did there was underestimate me. I don't think you understand, who exactly you're speaking to. I am the greatest wrestler Ireland has, and I'm the greatest wrestler any of these people watching will ever see. And another thing you contradict this, you call yourself Ace. When I get that title, I will be the ace. I will be the ace of that championship. When people think of NWF, they'll think of me. And that's probably why you come onto this, to my podcast and try and tell me.
Your podcast?
It's
All
mine.
right.
And
There.
try and tell me all these things. And it's just, honestly, it's delusion. It's great, but it's good to know we have people like, Kid Kelsey here who has a good head on his shoulders. And
Hey,
knows the score.
Pipsqueak. It's time to zip it here, buddy boy. Kelsey, are you going to take this? He's saying he's going to be the best champion ever. I thought you were.
I am. I still have not been defeated for that belt when I walked out of the building with it.
When you no-showed the dry dock?
I had hockey practice that day. High school hockey took precedent up at Columbia Rink. But no, you know what? I hear him, and it does hurt a little bit. But I do appreciate the moxie, and I appreciate how he talks to you. So he has my full support to take that belt from you and show you what a true champion looks like.
I'm sorry, guys. We have Kid Hot Stuff Kelsey with us tonight. I kind of figured we were going to get the Hot Stuff character.
USA guy was so boring.
Let's talk about that dropkick, Matt. There's been some debate on that. I know you said I dislocated your jaw, but let's fess up here. Did I or did I not just dislocate your jaw?
No, you did. It popped out and popped back in that night, and I had TMJ for about 15 years with that thing. And
see, I never heard about it at the time. That's why
there is not a clip that goes by that you don't show that fucking thing. Pardon my language. But
I do like seeing it. You know what I did, Matt? I got to show you what I did. I think I have it in here.
You make it into a T-shirt or a painting or whatever you got going on.
Canary's going to hate seeing this, but what I
know
did.
Exactly what it is. So unrealistic. So unrealistic.
Give me a second
Not
here.
what would happen at all.
I created this, and you'll recognize it, Matt. How about this? This is what's going to happen in Northern Ireland, everybody.
No.
If I have to come back in the ring.
I don't think you can get that high anymore because you had a kick you were about 6 feet in the air because I go about 6'1", and you got me square in the teeth.
Yeah, you
so
were.
So I'm pretty sure at your age you can't get that high.
I did. Normally, I'd hit you in the chest. You know this, and for some reason, I was a little high. So I'm not going to deny. I'm going to get rid of this. I just did this to tease Ricky. I love needling him with that picture, but yeah, you're right. I'm not saying you're a liar, but I don't remember hearing about this at the time. Is all I'm saying. But,
I mean, I think he's calling you a liar. I'm just saying what I'm hearing here. It sounds like he's calling.
He's called me a lot worse, and I've learned to take it with a grain of salt because jealousy is an evil thing, and he was jealous of both Ace and I for a long, long time.
And back to the title.
He's jealous of you.
And back to
he's so jealous.
Back to the title match that I had with Matt in this shoot that went to shit. Matt, I told you starting out, and you looked me in the eye and I said, Matt, when the bell rings, it's 10 minutes. I'm coming after the belt. I want to be cool in the end. And you're like, yep, no problem. We didn't know what the hell we were going to get ourselves into there, but that turned into a damn near slugfest.
Oh, we should have, one of the Super D's was reffing, and I don't think he knew what to do because two good buddies started swinging.
Yeah. And I just kind of took a page out. I figured I could get him to give up because I thought, and this is my mistake, that Matt had a short tolerance of pain. So I thought, okay, I'll get a leg scissors on him like I used to do on the playground. That's why I bring playground up. I'll just get a leg scissors on him. I'll squeeze as hard as I can. And I'm just going to get him to give. And we didn't call it tap, guys. It was give up back then. Tapping's a UFC thing, and that came later.
Give up? Okay.
So anyways, I'm squeezing as hard as I can, and he's not giving up. And I'm like, this isn't going to work. And as you're in the match like this, you guys, you can hear the commentators, and they're watching the clock, and they're like, all right, we're down to 1 minute left. And they're like, shit. If it goes to the time limit, which Matt predicted would happen, he keeps the belt. So then I figured, but I had him so wore out, I just managed to pin him. And I think you were like, all right, this is enough. Pin me, right?
Yeah, at that point, I'd held onto the ropes. I think I'd pulled the ace for about 5 minutes, and Todd or Troy didn't break the hold, and I was like, all right, I'm out.
Oh, you were furious. You were furious.
Oh.
Ace, you should have seen it. This is right after you left, man.
Like I said, they lived across the street, and I'm 99% positive I beat the shit out of that one the next day.
I bet you did. Because you lived across the street. That was a regular occurrence. But anyway,
it's a little payback.
But yeah, it was, now obviously in '86 we cleaned up our act. We didn't do these shoots. The wrestling got a little bit better, more presentable to what it should be. And the last match I had with Matt was pretty good for that time period, right? It was presentable. That's the one Matt shows everybody a lot of times, right? The armory match we had.
You cheated and you lost your belt and you lost
dislocated his jaw, I guess.
I whacked my jaw in the Kingdom Come for years, but yeah, it's still the greatest match. I know because I just proved that you couldn't keep your cool and you never had composure and you wanted to get. I got one too. It's just down in my house. I'm in the loop.
I just want to make sure it's on camera. I just got to make sure it's on camera.
The thing weighs more than that kid with the mullet that's wrestling a kid.
Oh, Benny didn't hear it, but he'll hear it in replay.
That was amazing.
That was good. That was good. The thing with Ace, though, I got to say, the shoot matches, they were a good experience in of itself. But I really wish, Andrew, you would have been a part of that '86 time period when we did the events at the Armory. I wish you could have been a part of that.
Yeah, I would have liked to have hung on. I just had too many things going on.
Yeah, I think you would have enjoyed it. You would have. But yeah, and it wasn't like Ace left on bad terms. You just came up to me and said, dude, listen, I just want to take a break. I'm going to step away. I just want to take a break. No hard feelings. I remember the conversation.
Well, I mean, I'd say, I know that you guys picked it up, with talent and, bigger kids, heavier kids. And I was kind of already struggling, I was up against some definitely bigger kids, stronger, and, to have made that transition, it probably would have been a challenge, no doubt.
Yeah. But I just wish you could have experienced the live crowds and the hundreds of people coming. I wish you would have been a part of that. Even our worst day, Matt, you know this because you were there at every one. We had 50 people, which isn't bad in an indie show, if you think about that.
No,
but I was
a bunch of kids.
I was pissed. Yes, if we just had 350 people, what the hell happened here?
Just for the record, that was the one where I had to fake the injury because I think I was going with you, Ace. I had to go to Bemidji hockey camp the next day. So
okay, nice.
Yeah, so we had to fake his arm we had to do an angle of his arm getting broke because his mom said we were paying a lot of money for this.
Go to Bemidji hockey camp the next day or something.
She didn't want to risk
so much fun too.
Didn't want to risk him getting hurt. So yeah, Matt.
You only draw 50 people when I'm not on the card, so apparently you can't draw worth shit.
And Dixie Dave always says the reason October 18th sold out is because he's on it.
I mean,
Dixie Dave.
Maybe it's time you give some of us their flowers.
What was that, Andrew?
What was the sellout?
About 450, give or take.
Oh, at the Armory?
Yeah, that's all we could fit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, and I say give or take because that fire marshal, or not the fire marshal, but the guy who runs the Armory, he kept coming up to me and he kept saying, we got a capacity limit because all these people were pouring in. Like, we got a bunch of the sales at the gate, at the door. Huh. And they keep piling in, and he's watching all these people. He goes, there's a fire, he's pointing up to the sign. There's a limit. You can only have X amount of people in here. And I'm like, he goes, how many people do you got in here? Because he could shut it down. He could turn people away. And I'm like, I think I just checked. I think it's about 300. And that was way more than that. I'm not going to say, I want the people to keep coming in the door. So I lied. That was in '86. Yeah. Yeah. It was, it's kind of funny though. But I'm going to just.
What was the turn there? What caused just the huge turn with fans?
We were doing pretty good. We only had that
I was
one.
Back.
Once we did our first armor, our first armor
back
card
on the card.
No, the first one we ever did was 300 and some, so we weren't far off from that.
Okay.
The only reason our last one wasn't as good is because we went up against the NWA. What the hell am I doing? The NWA was in town. That was not smart. But anyway, going head to head against them. But we still drew 70 there. But anyway, we don't have to keep getting into that. But I'm just saying, I wish you would have been a part of that because that was a cool thing. But I wish you could have experienced that with us, And then as we kept, and that's just the thing, I started getting into more of. There came a point where I hated the phrase "kids pro wrestling," and we went by that in your days. But then I got to a point where like I want to be an equal to Eddie. And once I met Eddie Sharkey, and when I met Eddie Sharkey, you guys, I don't know if I ever told Matt this, but back then, but when I first met him, and Steve really got us to meet him because Steve wanted to get in with them. That's why we were there. Because Steve figured he could bounce into Eddie, but Eddie wasn't going to use him because he didn't know anything yet. And but Eddie was impressed that we drew all these people at the Armory. So he was so like, he treated you like an equal, like you're on his level. And it just made you pump you up, made you feel so good. And I'm a 16-year-old kid and I don't know shit. But Eddie's making me feel like, I'm something worth special. What I've realized now is what he's seen with Matt. He's seen 350 people coming at the Armory to see us. He wants to cash in.
$10 a pop, right?
Well, that's classic promoter, right?
Well, and Ace is a year younger than me. You were a couple years older than me.
Right.
So like as you got, 16, 17, 18, I was still 14, 15, 16 playing high school hockey and stuff. So I think you kind of saw it a little bit differently because you saw it, you were becoming an adult and we were still kind of kids. So it totally made sense why you saw what you saw. Like you're like, hey, I can do this on a bigger scale.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, then when I went into the PWA, it was a whole different experience. I was more of an indie fed. It wasn't. I'll tell you something though. When we did our thing with the NWF, you guys, it was our deal. We were in control, especially when we got in the garage. When we went from Group W to the garage, and that's where we really started to develop. That's where we started growing. Because we could do our own thing. We'd shoot 4 tapings, a month's worth of shows.
Yeah, on a Saturday or something.
Yeah. And as kids, you could do it. It'd be hard to do a one match at my age right now, let alone a whole series. So
what's the venue on the first, the rugby club?
Malone Rugby Club?
That's about 140.
Okay.
That's the one where we get the pyro in for that one.
Yeah.
So that'll be great.
So 140 people. And Ace and I probably online somehow are going to watch you kick Crossen's teeth right down his throat.
Exactly what's going to happen.
Thank you.
Okay, one of two things are going to happen. Either he's going to be in the ring with me, which I know he doesn't want, but you're going to do it if you want this belt. Or I'm going to be reffing if Ben pulls this thing through. And if I'm reffing, mister, if I see what even resembles a closed fist, if I see what some kind of shot below the solar plexus, if I see, and I seen the sucker punch, by the way, and you say it wasn't a punch, but from my vantage point, it looked like one. Any kind of closed fist,
that already is not a punch.
I'm going to disqualify you so fast that it's going to make your head spin. And then that title's going to Ben.
You know what? I after what you just said, I have one big question, and it's not for you, it's for Matt and Andrea. How did you put up with this every day? I'm on a bi-weekly basis of hearing it once every 2 weeks. How did you guys do this every day?
It's painful. It was painful.
Yeah. I have to take I have to take migraine pills and stuff before I get on this. It's rough. It's really, really bad.
I would just tell one of his sisters he was bugging me, and then one of them would beat the hell out of him. So
oh yeah, I fought with them just as much as the guys on the show. Matt, you know too many stories.
I know. When Sean says we were thick as thieves, there was a 3-4 year period where we were, and the thing is, we all have egos in life, right? But Sean, you can't, as much as I hate doing it, just jokingly, you can't underestimate what it took for us to do what we did, right? There was no adults. The only adults were the ride to either the garage or the studio or back, and that was it. And he pulled it all off
during a time when nobody,
no one was doing anything like that.
Yeah, this is way before Backyard. Nobody was doing this kind of stuff. The internet wasn't around to expose it, so it was just our cable show, which got And back then, it was just cable. You didn't have satellite or anything else. So people tune in. Today it's community television is kind of a lost thing. It's there, but who watches it unless you're watching high school sports? It's just kind of a lost deal. It's a lost era. Let's just say that. And you know, Andrew, when you said that, you know, I did so much for everybody, I appreciate hearing it, and I've heard it. You know, back in that time when Dave and I brought a lot of you guys on as guests, everybody has repeated that kind of thing. Like, you know, Troy Dazowski said the same thing. You know, it's so cool that you preserved all this footage, because we now have a time capsule of what we did.
Yeah.
Which, you know, for us in those days, like now it's easy, but in those days it was hard to keep footage. You had to have expensive VHS tapes, and if you even had a camera, you know, we got our cameras from the cable company. Most people didn't have video cameras. That wasn't a thing.
No.
Believe it or not. I feel like I'm dating myself just saying all this, and this kid down here this is only feeding his fuel, because he's thinking like, yeah, and he's going to come into a title match with me. He's like a fossil. He always tells me I'm a fossil.
I love this kid. This kid reminds me of a little bit of Ace and a little bit of me, and he hates you, so he's my favorite.
Hate's a very kind word, you know.
Remember this, Kid Kelsey. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't exist. I made Kid Kelsey.
Oh,
that was a fair statement, and that was a fair statement.
And
I hate to admit it, but
unfortunately, I made him too aggressive in the end.
Made him a little too, yeah. Your own ego got the best of you. I'm going to call it right now. Your own ego is going to get the best of you in this match, and the Canary Kid is going to somehow outsmart you, because that's not the toughest thing in the world to do. And you're going to have to award that kid the belt and raise his hand, and it's going to be the second greatest time I've seen you lose that belt. All I
am asking this guy to do is to fight the way I did. I'll give you an example. I'm going to give you an example. Him and Ben are supposed to be friends. Let me give you an example. When Ben was on with us last time, it looks like we lost him. But when Ben was on with us last time, we watched a match with me and Jamie McParland, right? Me and Jamie are friends. We're friends back then. I didn't go kicking his knee. I didn't slap a figure 4 on him. I beat him with wrestling. And I'm asking you to do the same thing.
And you know what? Maybe if you did do that, you wouldn't just be 5'10", maybe be a 10'10" or something, maybe a little bit more impressive. And, you know, that's the thing, Crusher. As Kelsey said, that's why I'm able to outsmart you. You're too dumb to think of the outside of the box tactics that I have. You just see something hurt. Like, who is stupid enough to go into a match with an injury and then not expect me to touch it? Or it's just not my fault that Ben Nelson's just as thick as his hair.
Now you're taking
That's not my problem.
Now you're taking a page out of Kelsey's book. This is what Kelsey turned into. Ace, I will give Ace credit here. He was a heel, but he didn't break the rules.
I followed the rules. Thank you.
You didn't. I gotta say, I don't recall you ever really breaking the rules. But we just hated you for it, for being Ace. I mean, in a fun way.
He's so good he didn't have to.
But yeah, you know, he didn't have to break. You don't have. Well, this is too much pure filth coming out of. You know, Canary was part of pure filth for a while, and he's picked up some bad habits here.
Out of pure curiosity, please name the rule I broke in that match.
Oh, I'm not saying you broke a rule, but you played dirty pool.
I didn't. If he comes in with an injury, that's his problem. It's fair game. I'm allowed to touch his leg. It's in the rules. I just followed the rules.
Yeah, it's just dirty pool.
You were just talking about your leg locks. I don't know what's any different. You're giving this kid a hard time when you did the same stuff in our.
What did I do?
Match.
What the hell did I do that ever broke the rules?
You didn't release a hold when he had the ropes.
All right, fine. I dropped the knee on your nuts. I always did that move though.
I've never did that either. I don't drop any knees on nuts. If someone gets the ropes, I let go. I follow by the rules more than you do. Look, maybe that's why you're schmucker crossing. And I'm the heart and soul of this podcast.
What? So I drop kicked him and I dislocated his jaw. Get over it!
There you go, injuring people. I didn't injure Ben. Ben already had an injury.
Ace, I tell you. But I'm just glad that we had the time we had back in the day to be a part of this, and you know, and to, you know, we got pretty good with it after a while. But like I said, I got to reiterate, and I know he loves hearing it. These guys are much better than we were. And so what I'm excited to see is this. I'm excited to see the NWF belt come back into circulation properly. When I say properly, I mean in the true indie feds. Not that we weren't, but we were on the edge. And really put it into circulation again into that respect, you know?
Well, when I win the championship, I cannot wait to be the first ever NWF Heavyweight Champion to defend it in Ireland, in Portugal, in England, in Canada. I'm going to bring it all over the world. Ben Nelson will probably just put it up on the fridge because it's the only achievement he ever got. You know? And that's the thing. Ben doesn't know how it feels to be a champion. I do. I know how it feels to break records as champions. Ben, I don't even know if he knows what a championship looks like. He probably still runs around with the little styrofoam fake ones you got from the average toy store. Parades about his house with, and not me. You've seen me on this. I am a champion. I was never really beaten for my title. The same way, Kelsey, you can relate. You robbed out of championships. It's an awful thing.
Right.
So, you wouldn't get that, Crusher, because you were handed everything.
Well, handed? Okay. Handed? I was handed everything?
Yeah, I'm just speaking the best accent in the world.
And by the way, it's a championship. It's a
championship. Just because you speak, hey ho, it's Crusher Crossen, hey ho. I don't know, Canary, haha.
The Canary Kid. I just hope that Ben, and I know we lost him, but I hope Ben comes at it. See, they're doing a best of 3 series, guys, is what's happening. So Ben has to win. Otherwise, he's out.
What's the score so far, if you want to educate the people, just in case anyone new joined who doesn't know how it's going so far? Who won the first match?
Well, like I said, Canary played Dirty Pool, and he won.
Went after
Ben's sore knee and won the match.
Then why is he fighting for a championship if he's injured? Answer that question. Why is an injured competitor fighting for a championship and then complaining when someone attacks the injury?
And whose idea was it to do this best of 3 to begin with? Is that you?
Know. No. It was higher ups. And
so
just like always, when the gods come to me as their demigod and give me something, I am just doing what they tell me to do, but to the highest degree possible. So you tell me, for example, Schmuck, and also I do the favor of going to the less fortunate and making their dreams come true. Like you, Crush, you really want to see that title come back? I'll do it. I will bring it back to the greatest glory it's ever seen, because it'll be around my waist, not Ben Nelson. Ben will probably give it lice or something. Have you seen that kid's hair? Not going to happen. With me, with my well-kept hair and my amazing talent, it'll be the greatest championship on the planet. And you'll be very welcome for that.
So he says. Ace, what do you think?
Well, I think that you need to slow down again. I've said it before. I think that be where your feet are. Understand that you're not there yet. And these visions that you have of fame and fortune that come with this kind of a title are not just bestowed on you. Not just by virtue of you being you. I don't see that.
They're not bestowed on me. You're 100% right. But what is bestowed on me is my future. What is bestowed on me is the abilities that I possess. The abilities that make me the greatest wrestler that any of these people have ever seen. The abilities that make me the heart and soul of this podcast. That make me the heart and soul of Northern Irish wrestling.
You know something?
And the same abilities that will win me the NWF Championship.
He makes a big speech. He goes out there and he says, I'm the heart and soul of NIPW. And then the heart and soul of NIPW attacks a bad guy's knee, his bad knee.
He is bad, isn't he? He is really
and then goes for the figure 4, a very simple leg lock, I might add. That's not used a whole lot for the reasons I've said.
And I made it great. I won with a simple hold. That just shows how great I am. I can win in any way possible.
Speaking of figure 4 leg locks, you guys remember Peterson doing that all the time? All the time. Yeah, he liked that one. But I never, here's something I'm going to tell you guys. You made Ben submit, Ricky. I've never submitted. So you're going to break my legs if you're going to try to figure 4 me. But yeah, go ahead, figure 4 me and watch what happens. You'll be the one tapping. Tough guy.
Look,
did you just say he's got to break your legs?
Well, if I was going to submit, yeah, my legs would break first.
Don't threaten him with a good time, because I'll fly to Ireland and help him break your legs.
Look, Crush, I'll give it to you. You haven't tapped out. But that's because you haven't wrestled me yet. I'm a submission specialist. I make anyone tap. I have 2 submission victories in my last couple matches. I very rarely even go for a submission. I basically have a 100% success rate with submissions. So maybe watch who you're talking to, because remember, as I said before, you're talking to the heart and soul.
I don't know. Ace did a lot of submissions. I think Ace probably. I didn't submission. I would pin people. Ace though, yeah, I think you had more victories with submissions than you did pins.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And time limits. But it's a victory for you, you know. It's all about keeping that belt. But you know, I know this wasn't going to be a long show, you guys. So I mean, we're just going to kind of get together and chit chat. And is there anything else you guys want to say, Matt and Ace, before we wrap it up, though?
Well, I just would really encourage Canary and Ben to appreciate the moment. You know, one of you guys are going to be walking away with a title, a world championship title, and you know, very few people in this world get to claim that title. So enjoy the journey. Trust yourself. Trust your competitor, and wrestle right.
Yeah. Good advice.
You know, I think there are very few of us who, you know, obviously Sean lived this and breathed it, and I was probably close second or third. So I'm super excited to see the title come back. I'm super excited to see Sean a part of it, and you guys bringing it back. And honestly, if you can kick him in the face one time for me, you'd be my new best friend.
I'll try it.
That's all I'm asking. Old wounds die hard, Crush. Old wounds die hard.
You want to kick me in the face, huh?
I'll dislocate your jaw as well.
First of all, he's got to learn. Canary's still learning the drop kick. You know, it's really funny. Let me tell you a story, you guys, quick about this drop kick of his. Canary's drop kick was garbage when I first met him. Well, it wasn't garbage, but it wasn't Crusher Crossen.
It was better.
And once he learned about my big significance with the drop kick, he's been working on it, and he is trying to become a mini Crusher. And you know, he's working on it. He's working on it. I'll say that. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing a hamstring pulls modified a little bit, but yes. So I think I need to. What I'm saying, guys, is I think I need to take credit with Nathan for some of this training on the Canary Kid.
Oh God, here we go. You take credit for everything, don't you?
I do.
Right? Thank you. Did you hear him take credit for me earlier? I totally agree.
He just leeches off credit.
I love this kid.
You said without you there was no Kid Kelsey, but without me none of this happens. So if anything, you should be thanking me, because I'm the reason people tune in every Friday for this. I'm just saying.
I tell you, it's gonna be a great situation. But I tell you, you know, Ben's not with us. But Ben, I know you're gonna watch this. Just know this, Ben. You got to pull it. I got to say this for Ben because he's not here. It's put up or shut up, man. You got to get through this now. We're done. If you don't beat this kid on May 17th, it's over. And then I'm going to get in the ring, and I'm not interested. Look, I'll do it, and I'll kick his ass. But I'm not really interested in that. I wanted you to do this. I wanted you to be this guy, not me. But if I have to get in there and do this, I'm going to be one pissed off Crusher. So, and that's bad news for you, buddy boy. So I'm just saying, Ben, get it together and pull this thing through and make it happen so that I come out there and do what I'm supposed to do, and that's referee the match. And then, Mr. Canary, you better be playing by the rules. So that's all I'm going to say on that matter. All right? There. Now you got me all fired up.
All right, there. You're done, finally. Thank God.
I'm still the same Crusher, I guess, aren't I?
Can we wrap this up? This headache's getting too bad.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. So guys, I'm going to thank Matt. I want to thank Ace for joining us here. This is great. I know you guys got life, so I don't want to keep you. But thanks for coming in and talking to these guys. I wish Ben's connection would have been better. But what was that, Matt?
I said anytime, man. I love it. It was such a great time for all of us that I have such great memories of it. But yeah, anytime. Love it. Love talking about it.
Yeah, same.
And I know you guys haven't seen each other in a while, so it's kind of cool. It's almost like a little mini reunion there. So
Yeah, really.
I haven't seen Ace. I don't know how I missed him at the rink all the time.
Yeah, you're south, I'm north, I guess, but right. I mean, our paths had to have crossed.
Do you guys remember me and how pissed I'd be with the other sports? Like, because I'm running the show. I'm like, guys, we got a show. We got taping in here, and I'm like, I got hockey practice. I got tennis. Like, God, and especially the Super Ds, they were the worst. Like, and then we do that event at Sandburg Middle School, and Todd and Troy Dazowski. Let me get to remember this. Todd Dazowski shows up, one of them, and then Troy's nowhere to be found. I said, where's your brother? And he's like, oh, he took the bus home, I think. I said, what are you talking? They've been talking about it in the announcements on the school and everything. How did he forget? God. Hey, you're 10 years old. What do you know, right?
Yeah, what do you know, right?
Yeah. Them guys got pretty good, Todd and Troy. Shit, they went on to become
athletic. Yeah, they were. Yeah.
I want to become soccer players.
They were athletes.
I mean, professional soccer players.
Their sisters were even better.
Okay.
And by the way, guys, we call it soccer, but what do you call it, Ricky?
Football.
Football. Yeah.
You know, because it's mostly kicking the ball, so surely it's football.
All right, guys.
Well,
so
those two little bastards were really good at it. So I think they played.
They were good.
Pro indoor for a while.
Okay.
When we had Troy on, he said he did pro indoor. He also went outdoor, and he did all three. He was telling me about it, and so they're pretty good at it. I knew they were pretty good at it. Man, you imagine how good they would have got if we would have kept going with the lightweight division.
Oh yeah, they were such good athletes.
Yeah, they were just naturally athletic. All right, guys, that's been fun. It's been fun reminiscing, and we'll let you go. And Ricky and I are just going to wrap the show up. And thanks for joining us.
Good luck to you guys. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Take care, guys.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
It's been a good show, Canary. It's been. I'm still kind of on edge, but you know, with what's going on here. But that was good talking to the guys. Did you like that?
I loved every second of it. I feel like we should do it more often. And once again, the best part of it for me was the fact that Ben Nelson's internet destroyed it for him. And if Ben Nelson can't even get working Wi-Fi, how's he meant to be a champion? That's all I'm going to say.
All I can say, Ben, is you got to pull it together. This is put up or shut up time. There's no time here now for lack of a better word. I'm not going to say it, for messing around. I think you know what I mean. You got to get this done, man. I'll do this contingency thing, but damn it. And Canary, if I'm pushed to that level, I'm not going to be happy, and I'm going to come in there and I'm going to wreck you. If you think you're going to just walk out with this belt, Dan. So you have a lot. You know what? We got Canary between what I like to say a rock and a hard spot. Because on one hand, he doesn't want to lose this undefeated streak with Ben. You know, he wants to keep it rolling. But then you do that, and that means you roll into Crusher Crossen. Oh, no. So, yeah. And it's not any, you talk about another raccoon. There's no getting out of this. So you better keep your head on straight through all of this. Mm-hmm. That's all I got to say there. I hope Ben, though, pulls it together. He needs to. I'm going to be honest. He kind of disappoints me.
Sam, he disappoints everyone, Crusher. That's just Ben.
Well, no, not like for you. You know, what I don't understand here is you kicked his knee. You went after his knee again. Yeah. And then you put a figure 4 on him. Again, you go after again, which Cobra are you? And I know you know what that means.
I'm a king Cobra, that's what I am. I'm the Cobra at the top of the mountain. I'm the same Cobra who's going to be the NWF World Heavyweight Champion.
All I'm asking for is respect. I want you to respect this belt. All I can say is let's just see what happens May 17th. Let's take one thing at a time here and see what happens there. Like I said, I think Ben, he's going to pull it through. I really do. He has to. I'm not trying to coach here, but I'm just saying, Ben, you have to get this Ben, read my lips. Just like I told Keaton, you got to get this put together. I'm not trying to coach. I'm not managing here. I'm just saying this is what you got to do. Otherwise, this kid is going to have to come through me. And that's not what the plan was going to be. And if that happens, I'm going to be pissed at the situation. So Ben, make it happen. Is all I'm saying. And Canary, you ain't getting out of this if that happens. And it's not getting handed to you. Forget that.
Shining it around the waist.
How are you going to beat me? If that happens, if you and I have to get in the ring, how the hell are you going to beat me? You always choke when it's somebody with any kind of experience. Nate Maddox, this guy that I forget his name, but the Commonwealth champion.
You've done your research.
I don't want to butcher it. I can try to say it, but yeah, you choke. You're the choker. You're the choker unless it's somebody like that's still kind of relatively new and up and coming like Ben.
Well, I'd rather be the choker than the topper, and the topper is what Ben is. So that's all I'm going to say.
Well, Canary, you got a lot to think about here. So let me talk a little bit about what's coming up on the shows, and then we're going to kind of wrap it up. We are going to wrap it up. I don't know where Ben went, but he's gone. So let me see now. I got to see what we have coming up first. So this is going to be what we got coming up. I believe it's this Sunday. So it's this coming Sunday on Wrestling Revolution Keaton. It's the Ricky, the Buys. Is that how you say it?
The Buys, yeah.
Yeah, the Buys. The Buys back in town. So we're going to talk about, they're going to be our Keaton's guest, and we're going to talk to them. It should be a great show. That's going to be on Sunday, right? That's what's coming up there. And then with NWF Rewind all month of May, we're revisiting that very first Armory card that we were talking about a little bit. And it's going to be part 1. I've decided to, when we used to do these armories, they're 2 hours. And so doing a watch along at 2 hours with this old footage for me is kind of painful. So we're going to split it up into 2 shows, so that way we can kind of get, have it pace it out a little bit. An hour show is good enough, right? So,
I mean, the less time with you, the better.
Yeah. So, and the funny thing about this card, Dave's in attendance. Dixie Dave isn't on the show yet. He's in attendance. And the only thing going through his mind in that crowd was, how the hell can I be a part of this? He just wanted to be a part of it. So that'll be fun. We're going to see the first half of this anyway. And then our next show, Ricky, is going to be, oh crap. You know what? I didn't bring in comments.
Was there comments?
Yes, there was. Do you want to see them?
Go, let's fire free.
So I don't know who this even is, but he says the Canary Kid. And I don't know who it is. I can't tell. It's just a symbol. And then he says, why doesn't he do moves like FU or
GTS?
Yeah.
Really wants me to do fireman's carries.
That's what he's saying?
Yeah.
Fireman's carries. But we didn't even show any footage though.
No, he just wants me to do it.
Oh, he wants you to do it. Because
I'm just effective enough as it is, so
I follow it constantly. And then I hope he does moves. Does the fireman's carry moves in the future? Fireman's carry kind of, do you guys do that anymore?
I mean, just anything lifting something like that's a fireman's carry.
Okay. Well, fireman's carry back, what I remember is you would flip.
That's a fireman's carry like takedown.
Yeah. That's what we would do.
I don't need to do fireman's carries. I win either way. I apparently now I prefer submissions because it just makes Ben top out anyway.
I think the reason you don't see it. Whoops.
I
think the reason you don't see it so much no more is because people would get their arm twisted doing it. So it can be kind of a.
If you don't know how to do it right.
Right, you can get messed up with it. But yeah, we did have those comments. Now, sorry I didn't bring those in. I was completely forgetting about comments. But no, what we got coming up then, Ricky, with you and I in 2 weeks. This guy. And look at the shirt, Canary. Look at the shirt. Wrestling Revolution Keaton. NIPW Junior Training. I love that shirt. Do you like that, Canary? I love that shirt.
I mean, ugly, but whatever, I guess.
What does it say? I can't read it under Crusher. What does that say?
Crossen.
No, I mean the other text.
I don't know. It's very blurred, isn't it? It's just some ugly kid on a shirt.
I'll tell you something, Keaton or Ricky. You just may be having to deal with me, and I don't know if you're gonna like it.
Oh no, I'm terrified.
So, are you gonna get through Ben Nelson? I mean, you're really not talking much about this.
Because there's not much to talk about. It's not really on my mind, to be honest. It's Ben Nelson. It's just another match. It's just another day wrestling some schmuck.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'll be keeping an eye on the match. I'm going to see. I'm going to keep tabs on it because I got to know what the heck's going on, obviously. And, you and Ben are, if Ben's connection fixes, we got to figure this out. But I know you and Ben are scheduled to go on Keaton's show, I believe the 25th of May.
Okay.
At least that's what they have on their dates.
I've been told nothing.
Yeah. And another thing, we got another guest coming up, Tina Louise. She's going to be on after Keaton. She's a gear maker, and she makes gear. And this is going to be a little different, but I thought, let's do that. She asked, if you want to talk about gear, because she's made gear for like some of the Hernandez guys, I think, and stuff. And so yeah, I mean, like, let's get a gear maker on and hear about that, because I think as people in the indie business, they want to know about gear and how they can get it, right? So
perfect.
Tina Louise, that's going to be coming up May 23rd, and then after May 23rd, then it's going to be our NWF Forward special from the dojo, live in person with Crusher Crossen and the Canary Kid and Ben Nelson. Hopefully, I say hopefully because he's got to beat your ass. Because if he doesn't, it's done for Ben Nelson with this title match, and I'm not going to be happy if that happens. Just saying, right? Just
business as usual for me either way.
Another thing too, we didn't talk about it, but I just want to touch base. You got a kind of a big match coming up here on May is it 4th?
Yep.
What do you say about this? Now we should have talked about it, but you're kind of in a scramble for your old belt.
Oh yeah, looking to get my baby back. Yeah, it's a big match. I've said a lot to many people about it, so I'll keep it brief. All I'm gonna say is, I never lost that belt, and the right way to win it back, I lost it in a scramble. So I bet I win it back in a scramble. How about that? That's all I can say. Come Canary 2 belts. Want to win the NWF, win the junior heavyweight on both sides, makes my wings nice and even. Perfect.
Yet to be determined. And I was going to ask Ben about this, but I couldn't help but notice I didn't see Ben on the card. Is he?
No. So I know Ben wants to talk about it himself, so I'll keep it brief. But let's just say I don't think we'll be seeing Ben.
And why would that be?
I'll leave it to him.
Would it have anything to do with your dirty pool?
Again, I'll leave it to him.
You see, Canary, the difference between Crusher Crossen and the Canary Kid is I don't hurt my friends. I just beat them, but I don't hurt them, and I don't go after their weaknesses.
Dislocating jaws, yeah.
Well, that's different. Now listen, we're gonna wrap this up because otherwise you're gonna get me all riled up again. And it was a great show, don't you think? I think we had a good time.
Yeah, it was a great show.
It was kind of a little different, but it's cool to, it's not easy getting these guys to, the stars to align to get them to come on. So that was cool to have them. I wished I could have got Mr. X. I mean, he was one of the others, but I don't know. It's hard. He was older than us, so it's like he's a little bit older now, and it's just hard to get him. So I wanted to bring him on too, but anyways, it was a good show. I hope you enjoyed it.
Really good show.
I know Gizmo and all those guys that normally commentate and stuff, they're busy with Sky Sports Video News stuff for a while. So I don't know when we'll see them again. They're really busy through the next month or two. So they're regulars. But anyway, I know most people watch it in replay anyway. So
yeah.
And I know, Ricky, you told me you wanted to see more shorts. I've been doing more shorts. And I know, do you like them or do you not like them?
Well, everyone that includes me is amazing, so that's all I think.
Yeah, I notice you always like the ones you're in. Isn't that funny how that happens?
Coincidence.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. We will catch you the next time we're live.
Thank you.